All right, we are recording. Ladies and gentlemen, birds of all ages, we have Dirty Bert. My homie, Dirty Bert is on the show today. Welcome to Conservatish, episode 41. I don't know why you motherfuckers are letting me do this for as long as you are, but I appreciate you. Fucking episode 40, goddamn one. Go to patreon.com/conservatish. Follow me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. Contribute, and I'll keep giving you free shit. Aren't I kind? So, anyway, say something, because it's just me ranting at this point.
Hello, everybody.
All right. So first things first.
Yes.
Before we could get into our history or whatever, but something that you said bothered me while we were in the car. Naruto changed your life? What in the fuck are we talking about? First things first, Naruto, I'm guessing
Naruto.
it's Naruto.
Yeah.
Lo siento. Why would a Mexican kid?
Because it's called Vallejo.
Right. But here, speak directly into the mic.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it's all right. So Naruto changed your life. So what is it?
So, something about...
Is it a movie or is it
No, it's a TV show. It's
Okay.
a series, anime. There's one, just a regular Naruto, which was the one series, and the second one was Naruto Shippuden, which is like a little bit older, more adult, I guess, teen-oriented.
Any titties?
No.
Oh.
No.
What's anime worth if it doesn't have titties in it?
There's other ones with that. Don't worry about that. I'm talking about the one that changed my life, not the ones that I watched.
Not the ones you jerk off to.
Yeah, exactly. That's hentai. Come on. But yeah, that's my high school years.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have that? Oh, dude,
Dude.
I love some hentai porn, man.
Dude, no. In high school, we had a little crew, like, of, all the outcasts.
Right.
And we all hung out in front of the library. I don't know how it came up, but we all decided we're going to buy some hentai together.
Okay, all right.
And they all pitched in, and I ended up ordering online some, because I'm the one with credit card, some VHS fucking hentai.
VHS hentai. God, man. We are old as a motherfucker,
right? But yeah, so anyways, back to Naruto.
We'll get back to the hentai.
We don't
Continue.
need hentai. That's
No.
anyways. So
Right.
Naruto, I don't know what it was about the idea that there's two main characters. Kind of, Naruto is the main character. He was kind of a goofball. Nobody ever thought he'd be anything. But he kind of grew into, he kept trying, and he had his ninja way, and.
So it's ninjas.
Ninjas, yes.
Okay.
They're all they live in a ninja village, and there's separate villages that are kind of like the military for the nation.
Okay.
So this ninja village is like the most prominent one, and they, anyways, Naruto, he was kind of an outcast. He had a beast in him. That's a whole
beast.
So there's a whole two things to me that I've realized from stories is. There's the story, the human story,
Right.
the human experience.
Sure.
And that's what's got me. The reason I watched the show was because of the distractions, everything else going on. Him having a beast is a distraction. But the main story is he didn't have any bonds. He made one friend who that friend had lost all his bonds, and they had different experiences because
Bonds?
of that.
What's bonds?
Bonds. Like human bonds.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
And those bonds, Naruto, he had this bond with this one kid who lost pretty much his whole clan. And that kid, he thought he would be more powerful being on his own, while Naruto found he had more power because he had friends.
Okay, so that's what it is. I've noticed with the stories that really change stuff, it's the human stuff that really, it's the line through, you said outcasts, right? You and I both relate to that, you know what I mean? And having like a small group of friends or whatever. Like for me, I was dorky, but I wasn't like smart enough to hang out with the dorks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I couldn't even fit in with those guys. But like, so there's little pieces of it, in this myth or whatever, that everybody can relate to.
The thing that got me was the fact that Naruto, even though this other kid, his name's Sasuke, he was like one of the most popular. His clan was always the best in the village.
Okay.
So they killed his whole clan. He kind of goes off with some evil guy, and Naruto kind of puts it upon himself to bring him back. No matter what he does as a bad guy, he will keep that bond because it was his first real bond, and even after everything he's done, he's kind of made sure he's trying to bring him back. He's trying to save him from himself, kind of thing.
Right. So it's the old good and evil, and then it also is the idea of having a quest, and also the idea of saving. So it's almost like that other Sasuke or whatever the guy's name is.
Sasuke.
Vallejo. But like the way is like, you know, almost like a metaphor for ourselves. You know what I mean? Like our ego and our id, our person. You know what I mean? Like we gotta save ourselves type of shit.
Yeah,
I'm sure it speaks to something in there.
So for me, I watching the show for a while now, and it never really connected to me, but I don't know, something about the near end of this where they're fighting each other, and Naruto says a line where he's like, I'm gonna, you know, kill it here, but what he actually said, but pretty much he said something about, when I see you, you know, knocked down and hurt, I don't know what it is, but it hurts me. And that's all that bond was. That was that bond. And I'm like, you know what, that just clicked to me that I haven't had those kind of bonds. I always distance myself from people because I don't want to get hurt.
Right.
And since
that's all right. Well, that's okay. Yeah, 550.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since my wife, since I met her, I realized that bond was something I never really had. I had it with my family, but I never acknowledged it because I just had it. It was a privilege I had.
Right.
And she hasn't had that privilege. Her family wasn't, you know, close like me.
Right.
So I realized I had that bond with her, and that bond is something that I would really hurt if I lost that bond.
Right.
And even in Naruto, the only way Naruto was willing to give up the bond with Sasuke was if he got killed.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's the only way I'd give up my bond pretty much at this point with my wife would be the same reason. Something horrible would have to happen for us to lose that bond.
Interesting.
And it made me think more about the actual bonds I currently have, bonds I've had before.
Man, this really got into you, man.
It did, dude.
It's interesting shit.
I was baked out of my mind.
So that's probably part of it.
Oh my god. Music. I told you I stopped smoking.
Right.
The tree.
You stopped smoking. Yeah.
And since then, music has always been influential to me, and I realized that it's not as influential when I'm not high.
Interesting.
And
okay.
I think there's something when I'm baked that it makes me very open to emotions and thought processes. And so at that time I was writing all these thoughts that were just going through my mind. I'd never done that before.
Right.
And so I have them all about bonds and how you can have bonds with different people, and these different people could understand each other, that there is a bond, kind of a light bond there because they know this one person.
Right.
That their interactions, they talked about each other.
Like all of the people who listen to my podcast. They're all connected.
So my wife has, if she were to meet you, she might know a little bit about you because I've talked about you.
Right.
You know, that kind of bond. That's
and
what
she
I'm
knows
talking
I'm
about.
probably not a piece of shit because you're not, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously anyone who listens to the podcast knows better, but, you know.
But yes, I mean, I don't surround myself with people, you know, that I consider bad people.
Right.
In most cases.
Right.
But, you know, I've cut a lot of fruit out of my life over time.
Right.
Like I said, I've always been the kind of guy that's like, well, I'm done with this friend, kind of, I'll move on.
Sure.
And especially, I think most of my strong bonds like that, instead of friends, I don't have a best friend per se, but I've always had girlfriends or partners that I would be close to, and then those would be the people I talk to.
Right.
So now that I'm married with my wife, and she's the one I talk to, I find it hard to, if I have any issues, especially if it involves, you know, our relationship, it's hard for me to find somebody to talk to. Mm-hmm. But I'm cool with that. And,
yeah.
You know,
and you have your outlets and stuff.
Yes. So
as far as that weed thing, I had somebody tell me once, and I don't know if I'm going to butcher the quote, and I don't know if you know if it's real, but it's interesting to me that Maynard Keenan, the lead singer of Tool, that Tool said that the goal of drugs is to open new doors for you, and then our job mentally is to then go into those open doors and kind of like use our brains to do the exact same things that the drugs had done to open those doors. You know what I mean?
It's an experience, that's for sure.
Right. So maybe now now that you're trying to stay away from pot, now it's like now your brain, even though you're not used to using music, you're like, things aren't hitting you the way they're, you know, you'll be able to retrain your brain to follow those doors and open those doors even though you're not high, maybe.
Yeah, and I'm hoping, you know, that's how it'll go. But I mean, I believe people need an oh shit experience.
Oh shit experience.
I'll explain that in a bit.
Sure.
So an oh shit experience to kind of open up to how you'll deal with life when things aren't really going how they should. And drugs is one of those.
Sure.
You know, the first time you take something, you really don't know what the hell's going on. You're kind of
Right.
out of the space,
Right.
and then you start living into it. So it's kind of like people, you know, that in a war zone, that's their oh shit experience. But they get used to it, they get desensitized, and then they just live their life. That's the whole thing. These are all distractions that we have in our life, but
Right.
they're still the human connection. Those are the bonds that we have are the real story, the human experience. They just happen to be in different oh shit moments.
Right.
And when you don't have that oh shit moment, you get pretty complacent.
Yeah.
And I think drugs was my oh shit moment, but I haven't had any hardships in my life, like at all.
Really?
Yeah. God, I am blessed.
But you're Mexican, right?
I mean, I am Mexican, but I was.
But I thought you were a victim. Aren't you supposed to?
I mean, you can say I'm a little whitewashed.
All right, yeah.
you know, like
Naruto.
No,
are there any of your Mexican?
Americanized.
Right. Are there any Mexican in your family who make fun of you for anime? Like?
No. I mean, I'm not really close to my. That's another thing. I'm not close enough to my family. They don't know me. Years, I was into video games.
Exactly.
Locked in
Right.
my room.
Right.
High school, same thing, and then after that was just work and going out with friends. So my parents. Well, like I said, I've been privileged. I am like the epitome of privileged when it comes to, lifestyle.
Sure.
Not in privilege of money,
yeah,
but
you
privilege
also
of
but
bonds.
you also worked real fucking hard. I mean, as long as I've known you, you were a guy who like worked hard at your job.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're a smart man, and you've been able to apply it in your life really successfully.
Yeah, but I mean, it's because of the privilege where I didn't have to worry about anything. You know, my parents took care of me. I had a place to sleep. I had food at any given time.
Sure.
Most of the time, I didn't even have to do my laundry, even when I was paying rent. You know.
Right.
So you see what I'm getting at, and
right.
But people like my wife, she lived on her own. She ran away from home. You know, stuff like that. You know, she took care of her and her brother, who was just a year or two younger than her.
Right.
And she was 15 taking care of him. You know.
Right.
She was pretty much a mom at 15, and he doesn't even realize how lucky he had to have somebody even take care of him.
Right.
Me, I didn't realize how lucky I was until I met her.
Right.
So,
I think that's the human condition. I think that's the human condition as far as like an oh shit moment. I think we all have these things where, like I I've been talking about this a lot, but when I changed the spiritual group that I was a part of, and I kind of started losing weight, and like I've had to change my whole idea of who I am over and over and over in my life, and it was a big one. It's been a big one. It's been a whole year and a half of flux, and like walking out into ground that doesn't feel like it's ground, it doesn't look like it's ground, and I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. And now my relationship with the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, my relationship with others has changed. I've had to kind of, in a way, grab my balls and just like, okay, who the fuck am I? What am I? What do I want? What do I like? What do I, I don't think I actually really fucking like this, or, I actually, and just change my whole definition of who I thought I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you need to take that?
No. I'm just putting D&D.
Look at that sweet. Is that Apple or is that Samsung?
Apple Watch.
Oh, okay. Fancy boy.
I didn't even pay for it.
Good for you.
Dude, like I'm saying, I am
Mexican
blessed.
privilege.
No, this is work privilege. They gave me a phone. They gave me a watch. I have the XR Max. I mean,
what in the hell is an XR Max?
The new iPhone. Like, they paid for this.
That's very nice.
I'm
Do you
telling
like
you.
it? Have you been an Apple boy your whole time?
No. I'm still Android, but
free is free, so
now.
fuck it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm just super paranoid now with all the privacy concerns like Facebook and Twitter and all this. So iPhone is the only one that I mean, probably not the only one, but I feel safer with an iPhone because I feel when I close the app, it's closed.
Right.
On Android, it doesn't feel like that.
Right.
It is still Google. They're still kind of tracking you no matter what, because they have their back end still running in there.
Right.
You get the what's it? Google Assistant, that thing that just constantly runs.
Right.
So
I mean, but Siri does too, doesn't it?
Like you could say, but I don't use it as much. I know it does because it kept telling me about going to, hey, you're leaving here, go.
Okay,
so
that's
I'd always go to a weed shop around the same time after work.
Oh, really? And it
it
would track you for that
shit?
So
as soon as I went into my car and it connected to Bluetooth, it'd say, it takes this long to get to the street. I'm like, oh my god, dude. But I never used Siri or their maps, I used
Right.
Waze. So I'm like, how the fuck does this thing know that I'm going there? Obviously, it's still tracking me.
Right.
But I feel like I'm hoping it's not sending it back home, kind of like Google. But who knows?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it creeps. Google especially, I think, really creeps me out. And I've been an Android guy my entire time of having smartphones, but I've been playing with the idea more and more of switching to Apple. And I think part of it is that I don't.
What I found.
Exactly. Fucking exactly. You creepy fucks. God damn it, that is so creepy. You see what it goddamn said?
This one does it too. When you say,
But like, you know, not I can turn off vocal recognition, but I use it too much. You know what I mean?
You
When I'm
use it a lot more
driving,
than I do, that's
I
for
use
sure.
it fucking constantly. Like if I'm, if I'm driving, I'll, say
dude,
it and
we're
and,
walking
and
down the
write
street
a text.
and you're like, we're talking, and then all of a sudden you get a text and then like, 1 second. I'm like,
right,
dude.
right.
I'm like, okay. Instead of
Listen,
you just
Bert.
text.
A lot of these bitches, they want things from me. Okay, what I can't have them wait. You know, I'm a good man. I gotta take
Right.
care of these girls.
Yeah, they have a small attention span.
They do.
I mean, they have so many choices. You have to. If you get any attention, you gotta get it.
Yeah, but if I dick them down, they're all right. They,
Yeah, I mean, but they probably get more too.
So Naruto, how does it? In what ways? I guess what's the way you apply it? Like, are you a part of like appreciation groups or like?
No,
do you
just
game
personal
at all?
thing.
Or?
I game. I play Destiny 2.
What is that?
First-person shooter.
Okay,
Kind
okay.
of it's considered a 10-year game. They said. So you
Oh,
play
like
one
Warcraft?
character. Similar,
EverQuest
but
type
first-person
of thing?
shooter.
Okay.
So the whole idea, it's a very linear story, for the campaign, and then there's a separate, just
Campaign.
yeah, story. Come on,
All
you
right.
you played video games
I
before.
apologize. I play video games, but yeah, I play fucking Mario
never-
Kart 64.
Okay, that's
you know what I mean?
different. So you've never done
GoldenEye
campaigns.
No, I know.
Okay, so campaign is pretty much a linear story. That's pretty much what it is. Beginning
Okay.
and it tells you a story about your character.
Okay.
So the whole idea with Destiny is it's kind of like World of Warcraft in the sense that you could go farm stuff and you kill things, you power up, you get better gear, just so you could be the more powerful guy. That's the whole goal.
Right, and maybe it's cooler because you actually have a gun instead of like a wizard.
Yeah. You have 3 types of guns, 3 abilities, pretty much, and
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
See, that's good though. See,
It's simple,
it's
quick.
interesting. That's it because you don't fit in the mold of like in my head. I've always thought gamer equals whatever, somebody into Naruto. But like you have a beautiful wife and you have this big life and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting shit. To me.
I've evolved from
You've evolved.
from my gamer. I mean, I used to be well,
look at your wrist.
85.
Your
I
wist
was
have
80 pounds heavier.
right. I
Playing
remember.
World of Warcraft
Right.
for 7 years.
Okay.
So I had that, and then I
Right.
moved to San Francisco for work, and seeing all the sexy people around me, I'm like, I need to work on myself. These
Look
are
at
people
you,
motivated.
dude. That's what's great. I love people like you who like just make a decision and you stick to it.
I've
And
never
you're
done that. So it was San Francisco where I saw people that were motivated. People like you did your music, you're doing your podcast now.
Right.
It's a certain form of motivation.
right.
And I can only kind of stay to one motivation at a time. So first it was losing weight. I did that. Now my last motivation was getting debt free. Did that in November. I finished paying off on credit cards,
yeah.
cars, stuff
That's
like
awesome.
that. This one is more. My next motivation is more of the Naruto related bonds and help realizing what I want to do with the people I hang out with and
Right.
the time that I have spent.
Right.
So
right.
I'm trying to watch less TV, which is kind of hard. My wife loves TV.
Right.
But it is what it is. But I can't complain. She pointed out that for her, watching TV with me is a bonding moment, and what, that kind of
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's a bond.
Right.
So I let it run. We hang out and we watch TV.
Right.
So my next motivation is really about how I spend my time. I'm trying to clean dishes more, trying to keep clean in the house, vacuum, stuff like that. Just get out, do a walk for 30 minutes.
Right. So you're trying to clean up your side of the street in a way. You're trying
Yeah.
to build your cul-de-sac of your family and your life and your
Yes, I've gotten more into my hanging out with my family.
Right.
I think it bugs my wife a bit.
Yeah.
Because why do you want to go? You could wait. But,
What a mean
especially
man.
with her. I mean, she's lost family, and I don't know when I'm going to lose my family. And I never thought about it until she did. And then, so for me, it's like, especially after the realization of my bonds and time, I'm like, I need to hang out with my family. I need to be more around them. I've never been close to my brothers, my sister, nothing like that. So now I'm trying to be closer. I'm messaging them more individually and as a group.
Right.
On, just to get them to talk, because I don't know anything about them.
Right. So, and you're, how old are you? You're
35.
35. Yeah, I think that's about normal. When you were saying, like, I think, I was close to my family and then I got sent away. I mean, I guess, I had to change my...
I was privileged to have the family I had.
I see what you're saying.
They're a loving family. They're close. We'd go to church. We'd do that stuff, but eventually I stopped doing that. But I was always there for meals and stuff. So we still were close. They took care of me, and I never appreciated it. So now I'm trying to show my appreciation as much as I can. Right. And that's really where it's coming into now. And that's what happens. I'm assuming you grow up, you mature.
Yeah, especially in your 20s, you're trying to establish your own footing. Obviously monetarily, but also interpersonally. You're trying to establish, okay, here's who I am, or here's who I think I am, and you're trying to establish a foot, like a ground. What the hell am I saying? A bedrock for yourself.
A foundation.
Thank you. A foundation for yourself, and then you can visit these other foundations more appropriately and more. You can give more because you have more to give. You know what I mean?
And with that, I get it, but I feel nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Yeah. That the more I live, the more I realize I don't know shit. You know, and everybody's just their experiences. Mm-hmm. So no matter how much you're trying to find your foundation is going to be everything you're experiencing, and people don't realize that when it's happening, because it's happening. It's just, and then that leads you to be different people. Sure. Even if you have similar experiences, you could completely different people because you react differently to it. Right. So. And you probably react differently to it because of your previous experiences. Right. So.
But I think, obviously, we're all moving and changing all the time. But that foundation, like that grabbing of the balls, like that I talk about, is okay, I know myself. I know I can find myself. I know I have established avenues by way of fixing myself or spiritual practice or whatever you want to call it to maintain and build this person. But until you start to, I think until like mid-20s maybe or later, I didn't really know that, okay, this is my responsibility. You know what I mean? It's no longer family. Mm-hmm. It's no longer the education system. It's no longer these other established, foundations. Now it's my fucking foundation.
Yeah, and
where does that happen
my growing was moving to San Francisco. I had to deal with it. I mean, I had to do my laundry.
So where did you come from?
Monterey Bay.
Monterey Bay.
So about 2 hours south of here.
Yeah. So there's a lot of Mexicanos down there.
Oh yeah. Parents moved there. I was 8 months. Came from Mexico. They worked the fields. Now, mom's a school teacher. Dad's a mechanic manager at awesome. One of the field places. Right. So they've moved up.
Right. They've moved up, and they.
It's kind of. I don't know if I should be saying this, but I make more now than they make combined. Right. And that has a big change for me. Like I said, the Naruto thing is not just the Naruto thing. Because I noticed it happened a little bit before that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm on board, but it just bothers me a little bit that we're within the framework of anime.
But because I took inspiration from that. It doesn't matter where you get inspiration, but whatever makes you grow as a person is what you should do.
I'm on board with it, guys.
I mean, I started losing weight because of music. Okay. So I don't know what it is with ninjas, but the song that got me really into starting to work out and all this was called Inner Ninja by Classified.
Okay. Is it a rapper?
Yeah. Okay. I think I don't know what race he is, but yeah, rapper. I listen to white rappers or whatever, Right. I just I'm more of the music, not the person. Right. So it spoke to me. You could be what you want. You just have to find your inner ninja. Right. And that made me think I could do this. I can motivate myself to work out. I watch what I ate. Mm-hmm. So first it was just watching what I ate. Then it was working out, and then it was watching my calories, and it snowballs. You can't do it all at once. Right. And that's the biggest mistake people try to do is that they think they have to do everything at once. Yeah. No, just take a step. Right. The first step is don't eat that. That's the first step that you do. That is the first step when you want to lose weight.
It's you know what it is too? It's overcoming inertia is the problem.
Yes.
Because once
You
I
get
start
used to it.
moving, once I make a decision, I'm not going to eat that, it gets a little bit easier to not eat that the next time.
And that's motivation.
But making that first step is the issue. You know what I mean? Making that first step.
And then instead of just being super fit or super whatever, it's more about just being well with yourself. Be well first, and then worry about being fit.
Right.
So if you can't be just well, watch what you eat on occasion.
I think part of the reason why you and I mean, I think part of it is that I'm an alcoholic, but also part of it is that I think alcoholics in general, my kind of people, enjoy the drama. You know what I mean? Like, you seem to be a type of person who doesn't. Like, I don't want to enjoy the drama, but there's something in me that's like, I'm like, I can't, if I'm doing nice things or I'm being mature, I get bored. You know what I mean? Like, I want to knock something over every couple of days.
You want an oh shit moment.
Yeah, I do. Constantly. Yeah. There's some people who I've said this before. There's some people who say, like, they use alcohol to take the edge off. My mind says, why have an edge? Let's just sand that motherfucker down and keep going. You know what I mean? That's anyway.
So yeah. I mean, yesterday I wanted to have a drink because I'm not smoking.
Right.
So, I need to, but I didn't have a drink, but, just get the edge off. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to just, watch myself. It is what it is.
Yeah, but you make that decision and you're sticking through it. And it's interesting. I can relate to it on some levels, and I'm getting better at it.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's a daily
just like,
thing.
exactly. Like we were talking in the car, is that idea of, I'm, it's incremental changes. It's starting to change and then incremental changes. And it's so much easier for me on a drama queen level, on an alcoholic level, to think I will make like I was saying, the Gandalf moment, you shall not pass, because I can get a little Naruto.
Yep.
But like that fucking moment of like, I'm never going to do this again, and I'm a bad person if I do it, and I just, and making these
that's
huge...
Just bad. That's preventing you
Exactly.
from accepting yourself. You're going to accept that you're going to break down. You're going to fail at what you're trying, but you only grow if you keep failing.
Right.
And then you feel bad about it.
Right.
And then next time, you don't do it. That's what it is. It's just the next time. You have to keep thinking about the next time.
Right.
Don't keep thinking about the times you failed. Think about the next time that you're going to succeed.
Right.
If you keep thinking you're going to succeed, you will succeed. And there's a big...
You're like a Mexican Tony Robbins.
There's a big... It's just the more I watch TV show, I already have this whole idea that media is trying to tell us something in the back end.
Oh, yeah.
That people just don't realize. That's the human experience.
Right.
And that human experience is the more you believe it, the more it's possible. So if you believe you're going to fail next time, you're going to fail next time. If you're going to believe you're going to succeed next time, you're going to succeed next time. If you believe you're only going to do 60%, you're only going to do 60%.
Right.
So I think I'm stuck at that. I believe I'm only going to do 60%. I don't think I'm going to do 100 because I can't. That's my downfall. I don't think I can.
Right.
But once you think you can, you can. My younger brother, he's watching what he eats. He's trying to get swole, quote unquote. Right. And he thinks he could do it, and he's doing it because he thinks he can. And I think younger people have that mentality that they can do things more than, once you get older, because you have experiences where you failed. Right. It's harder for you to believe you could do things.
Right. And I think life, I was talking with somebody yesterday, and smart dude. And more than smart, but like when you pay attention, that you get signs wherever you come, right? Whether you want to call it God, whether you want to call it universe, whether you want to call it something.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah, whatever. There's fucking Naruto or whatever. God damn it. So this guy, I was at a gathering, and he said there's that this is not about perfection, it's about progress, and this whole life thing is not about perfection, but our job is just continue. The goal is to manage my imperfection. That's it. Just manage my imperfection. Try a little, move a little, take a step here.
I mean, if you were perfect, you'd be boring.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what it is. Nobody likes perfect.
Right, and I don't think it exists anyway.
It's a made up thing.
So what do you? So your parents immigrated here. Okay, and so you weren't born here.
No.
Did you get your citizenship?
When they got it, I was just under 18. I was 17, and
it took them a while to get it.
Yeah. So once they got it, I got it.
Okay, so. Now, see, as an uninformed man, and you've listened to the podcast, so you know that. But you're friends with me, so. But as an uninformed man, so you can stay on a work visa, even though you're an immigrant. You can stay. Like, did they come?
I was
do you know the process of how
alien.
they got here?
I was a legal.
Okay.
Like I had a green card and everything, so I was here. They came legally.
Right.
Me, not so.
Okay.
Till a few months later, once they got the paperwork cleared and everything, then they said I came over here.
Okay.
But the way I got here, whole different story.
Right.
I won't get into that one, but anyways.
But but obviously your dad worked really hard. Your mom worked really hard.
And I think that's where I got my hard workmanship was from my dad, because he's the kind of dad, and God, I appreciate it so much now. He's always been working. He works 6 a.m. till 5 p.m.
Right.
Every day.
Right.
Monday through Saturday. He's a hard worker. He's not best in shape, but he is strong because his job is labor. And you're either going to get one of two jobs, one that uses your body or one that uses your brain.
Right.
And I was just lucky that I didn't go to school, but I got a job using my brain.
Right. And I guarantee, you said a second ago, you make more money now than they do combined. I guarantee they're so fucking happy about that. You know what I mean?
But they still tell me, if you only went to college, imagine how much better you would.
What are they, Asian? You were
right? No,
do they watch Naruto?
Well, my mom, she became a preschool teacher because she went to school. She went to a community college, did that, and then she went to school.
Right.
While working in the field.
Right.
After hours, she went to school. My parents have been nothing but a good influence on me.
Great.
I just never appreciated it.
Right. No,
that's the whole thing.
That's life, man. That's kids.
Yeah.
That's youngness. That's all that is. But continue.
Yeah. So my dad, he, we'd be out of milk. Wakes up before work just to go to the store to go buy milk.
Right.
So I said he works at 6 a.m. He leaves at 5 a.m. to go to work. So he'd wake before that just to go get us milk. That's the kind of dad he was. So I'm trying to, put that in my relationship with my family, my wife, and
Right.
So that should be. He's a prime example of what I want to be.
Right.
And I'm just success. I would consider myself successful now. Mm-hmm. Both in family, my lifestyle, and financially, and everything is just. That realization that I'm successful, and I just realized this recently, that I'm successful, has made me appreciate people more. And I think that's when my Naruto was kind of the catalyst that made me realize it more.
Okay.
But it was before that I knew I was successful. I just never spoke it out loud that I was successful.
Right. And it's all about our definitions. You can find something wrong with your life. I can find something wrong with my life. The problem that I've had a lot of my life is that I take those, but things, and I blow them out, and I focus on them. With the smoking or with other things, where I have this issue, and my magnifying mind magnifies that, and I focus on that issue. I become that issue rather than I started smoking again this week. The reality is I've lost 100 fucking pounds since March. I'm working out. The reality is I started a fucking podcast and it's growing and it's successful. The reality is I've done 95% of my album and it sounds unfucking believable. And I've been able to. I haven't gone hungry. I haven't gone without a roof over my head. I've been able to pay rent. My version of success is not what I think it is sometimes. You know what I mean?
Success for me, my realization of success was when I realized I don't need to worry where my next meal or my next rent check or my next whatever is coming from. That was my definition of success. I think that's when I realized I could start focusing more on more important things. And I think that's a big thing with most of the population is they're always worried about where their next paycheck's gonna come, especially, things like the shutdown. These people, they say, politicians say they care about these people, but they don't understand. These people have debt. These people have to pay rent. These people have to buy food.
Right.
They need a steady income. Even if they're going to get furloughed, right now they need the money. And that's the problem. And I still don't have any savings. But now that I'm debt free, I'm going to start saving. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to hopefully get past that whole sense of, where's my money coming from? Because I already have money.
Right.
And that itself, I think money is the evil here.
Right.
Because without it, you can't really work on yourself. You have to worry about money. That's always in the back of your head. Always. Even when you're worrying about your smoking, about your eating, about your whatever.
Oh, yeah. All of the money I make is already spent. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. When you have that in the back of your head, it makes it harder for you to do anything else.
Right. It makes it harder, but it's also not impossible. And not just that. I feel like, again, it goes down to the definition thing. I feel like same thing goes where with my head, I think I can't enjoy it while I'm XYZ, right?
Yeah.
Or while I'm this, or while I have this character defect, or while I'm still broke, or while I'm still paying back rent, or I'm still this, or blah, blah, blah. The reality is that I am who I am. This is my only fucking January, whatever the fuck it is, 10th of 2019. This is the only time I'm going to be 32 and a half. I better fucking enjoy it now because that's my only option. Because even if I paid back all my shit and I get no debt, no nothing, I'm fucking in New York and I'm killing it, I'll find something else to fucking worry about. I'll find something else
now
to
you'll
fucking...
have only that thing to worry about. That's
okay.
Because
yes, money makes a difference.
Okay, money, the only reason I'm saying money is because that's the only thing you can use to pay rent and buy food, which you need.
Right, but I'm talking about it from a mental standpoint, from an emotional health standpoint. If I'm focusing on, I can't enjoy this life. Enjoy meaning, where am I right now, in the moment? What's important? You know, like you're saying, with your family, with your life, with your wife. It's like, in the moment, these bases are covered. Am I taking care of this? Not like time-wise distracted with making money, but I'm saying mentally distracted with, I can't enjoy mentally my day right now because I'm worried about it.
Because I think for me, I didn't realize these moments that be in the moment until I was debt free. Versus, so you get what I'm trying to say?
See, if I waited for that though, I would never. But that's the thing is that okay, yes, we need to work hard, we need to get debt free. But before you were debt free, you were able to enjoy your life.
But I don't think I enjoyed the moment. I was working hard and spending the money I was working hard for. You know, and that's what that was my moment, was working hard to do.
But I think I disagree. I think I disagree on my definition of what living in the moment means. Is that you were able to cultivate those relationships, you were able to work on interpersonal, you were able to lose weight, you were able to... So you've done all these things and enjoyed a lot of life, even though... you were in debt, even though you had these, even when you were 80 pounds heavier. I'm not saying that's good enough and let's just chalk off our defects of character and just excuse everything. But I'm saying we do have to enjoy where we're at right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right. I just, like you said, like we said earlier, different experiences. Mm-hmm. We read different things.
Right.
So for me, I just I did enjoy the moment. I just didn't appreciate the moment.
Yeah.
I'm learning to appreciate the moment more now.
Right.
And I'm hoping that's positive for me and hopefully for the people that I hang out with and the bonds I do have.
Right. And same thing goes with your pops, or with mine. It's like, I guarantee, like, it was a struggle and it was difficult and there was things, but he had to and did enjoy or give to his life and be in the moment then, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Same thing with, with any kids. Like, if you have kids, like, if I have kids, like they're only going to be that age, whatever the fuck it is, for so long. And, one thing on Comedians in Cars with Coffee, Louis C.K. was talking about how, he got up one day and I'm going to butcher the story, but he got up one day and he was talking about how this is really hard to get them out of bed, get dressed, get them to work, get them to school, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it was incredibly difficult. And I immediately thought, I'm going to miss this. You know what I mean? I'm going to miss this. Yep. So don't. That's what I'm saying.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy your little girl deciding she wants to wear purple today.
Right. Enjoy the struggle.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you have opinions on illegal immigration?
Illegal immigration, my opinion, I think it's bad for the economy in a sense where people get dependent.
Okay.
But not everybody's like that.
Sure.
And the people that are willing to put in work will put in work.
Right.
We are obviously in a labor shortage as a whole thing that everybody says. And people are willing to work. I mean, if a guy that comes over illegally is able to get up and running, get his car, get money, get a job,
right?
Why can't everybody else that's on welfare do that?
Right.
There's both ends to the system. There's people that are already here that don't benefit,
or that don't work.
Yeah, I mean, we need to stop treating it as people that want to keep us apart, because there's people that want to keep things separate. Parties, groups, demographics, and then there's the rest of us. And that's pretty much what it is. Is the rest of us are just people. You could be a Republican and Democrat. Politically they're right now completely separated. But then you have friends that are different, and they're just friends. They might have different principles, but they're still people. They still have that bond.
Right, and I wouldn't even say that they have different principles. They just have different definitions of what that principle looks like in real life.
Yeah.
Both, as an example, on the death penalty, both people, or maybe that's not a good excuse, but both people, whether you, let's try to fit it into the death penalty. Both people think that they're coming at it from a different. Let's say pot. Some people think we shouldn't legalize pot because it's harmful. They've seen it in their life and their definition of it, that it's harmful, and so we shouldn't do it. And then there are people on the other side who say it's harmful to not legalize it, and here are the reasons why, or it benefits me. Both people, neither one of them is coming from a bad person angle. Neither one of them wants to hurt people. Both of them are coming from a place of what they think is beneficial to other people and to the general country or general population. One might be wrong, one might be right, but on the base level, where they're jumping off from is not, I want to hurt people. You know what I mean? And so
I think it's really of us versus them is the mentality that some of these people have,
right,
because they haven't smoked it or they haven't done this drug.
Sure.
And then they've heard about horror stories. I'm pretty sure most people that are anti haven't been around people that are into it.
Sure.
And I think that's a big thing.
Or they have and they don't like that motherfucker.
You have no experience with it. And that's the biggest fear, is you don't have experience with it.
Right.
Without experience, you can't judge it. And I think that's what a lot of people do, is they judge it based on supposedly an experience from somebody else. Or
right,
politicians, whatever.
Right.
A politician says
or
this
what
is
they've
bad.
shown on the statistics, or,
I mean, there's statistics that, certain groups of people are incarcerated more.
Sure.
But nobody wants to acknowledge really that,
right,
or do anything about it.
Right.
And us as bystanders, to a victim, a bystander, somebody that's just watching, is as bad as the perpetrator, because they're not helping them.
Mm-hmm.
And
mm-hmm. and I think in general, and you've listened to a bunch of that, or some of that, but whatever, like, that's what this whole thing is for me, is humanizing motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Is the fact that I can know a Trump supporter and I can know a super lefty liberal rapper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can know both of those people and have good conversations with them and not judge them that where they're jumping off from is bad. They're bad. They want to hurt people. And just like you were saying, that lack of experience, someone who's anti-pot has a lack of experience. I think in the Bay Area, a lot of people who are anti-Trump supporter don't know any motherfuckers who are Trump supporters. Yes. They've never broken bread with a Trump supporter. They've never had a conversation with them, or that they think of. And so they just think everyone who's not in LA, San Francisco, and New York is just a complete racist piece of shit. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. Where, like, I went to Oklahoma and there's gay kids running around and black kids. It's not that big a goddamn deal.
Yes, exactly. And that, I mean, my wife, once I told her about your podcast and the title of it, instantly...
right.
It's like, who is this motherfucker?
Right, exactly right. But I mean, that's what, it's so hard to get people to listen.
She has a point. You have to take, once you put a stance on what group you're in, you have to take both the good and the bad from it.
I don't mind that. Yeah. I hear you.
And I'm like, okay,
I knew,
and she has a right to
doing.
her opinion.
Sure.
Yeah, I knew you knew. You spoke about it, and
right.
And I applaud you for that. You took your stand. You might have lost some friendships that you might have had before that, because of your demographic that you decided to be in, you're already something else. Like, everything you said before, any bond, any connection you had before just didn't matter anymore.
Only to a couple of people. And really, it's only been people who have not listened. I talked about this a couple of podcast episodes ago. There were some people who I've known them for a number of years. We did music together. I performed at their wedding.
Dang.
And yet, because I was having a Proud Boy on the show, they just completely, they were angry at me on social media. They completely wrote me off and unfriended me, and completely just disconnected the connections. And I'm like, you haven't even listened to the show.
I want to listen to that show. I remember you talking about it the first few shows. I've only gotten a few shows in.
Sure. And
you mentioned it, and I'm like, I want to listen to that episode.
It's interesting.
I want to hear. I like hearing other people's sides, because you can't judge people without talking to them. I mean, how
well, you can, but you shouldn't.
I mean, you can't.
Especially
if
the motherfucker has performed at your goddamn wedding. If you've done music with them, if you've known them for years.
I mean,
you know what I mean? And you know that they're not a piece of shit. You know what I mean? You can't just completely write them off. And that's, it fits into that whole definition thing, because that guy, that Proud Boy, he's now a former Bay Area Proud Boy, he's a Mexican dude. Full on la raza, you know what I mean? And yet, white supremacist? That doesn't make any sense, you know what I mean? So there's these definitions in these boxes we put ourselves in. The reason why I called it conservative is because, I feel a little goddamn alienated in the Bay Area that I can't like guns. I feel a little fucking alienated in the Bay Area that I'm not the guy smoking a closed cigarette wearing a profound ironic t-shirt with with gently tousled hair, just like trying to passive aggressively get my way into some pussy. Like, I feel a little goddamn alienated.
Yes.
And so I started researching some speakers and some conservative ideas, or some centrist ideas, some libertarian ideas, and I kind of like the libertarian angle, but I called it conservative-ish because I'm not all the way conservative, and I'm not all the way liberal, and I'm some super lax on some things, and super, not in some things I'm a little more strict. Like I think, like you were saying, like the rest of us. This podcast is for the fucking rest of us. This podcast is for the people who aren't all the way here and all the way there, and aren't making a goddamn big deal out of this.
The people that don't want to keep us apart.
Yes.
Groups. There's only it. That's it. There's people that want to keep us apart, separated, just separated, and then the rest of us. And things that keep us separated are pay, like how much we have. Mm-hmm. Race is another one that they made up. Mm-hmm. What else?
Gender.
You know, things like that.
Right. So, where, like, in general, when I've had people, I've had people on the podcast, like some people I've known are more liberal and wouldn't be comfortable getting into politics, and it wasn't like I was avoiding it. I just didn't care. I didn't want to do that. I'd rather hear, like, Morgan, trans comic. I had her on the show, and we just talked about her life. You know what I mean? We talked about how she grew up as a guy with a 10-inch cock. You know what I mean? But never felt like she was in the right body. Mm-hmm. We talked about, her life experiences and moving and, getting high. We talked about all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? We didn't get into politics at all, and I wasn't avoiding it. I just, it's not important sometimes. You know what I mean? And then there are some episodes where all we fucking talk about is politics, and maybe sprinkle in a couple of things about bitches. You know what I mean? Other than that, you know what I mean? But like, I also called it that because it's kind of catchy. You know what I mean? It's not just, who's this Peter Feliciano? Like, I don't know who that motherfucker is. It gets a rise in people, too. It gets a rise, yeah. Yes. So I guess I can't complain too much about it getting a rise if I did it on purpose.
Yeah, but, the thing is that you'll find people that just don't want to listen to it because of the name. Mm-hmm. Other people are like, oh, because of the name, let's see what he has to say. Right. And those are I think that's everybody else. Let's see what he has to say. And that's why I started listening to yours, because I'm like, I just want to see what... I don't know this guy to a point politically, because we never talked about politics. Yeah. We've talked about bitches.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean...
And fucking Naruto.
No, I mean, that's only today. I'm pretty sure I never
your
mentioned
wrist,
Naruto.
Though, your wrist has... Because I mentioned it earlier, your wrist tattoos, one of them is the mushroom, and one of them is the star from fucking the original Mario.
Yes.
That is so legit. That is so fucking legit. God damn it. So I got much respect. But yeah, we've talked, we've dabbled. But yeah, we met at the where did we meet?
Armory.
Okay, yeah. So we met at the Armory, at the little at the bar there.
No, SFTNG.
No. I think they used to meet at Odyssey, or what's that place over in the Mission on 16th and like Valencia, in between Delirium. Was it Delirium? No.
That was later.
Oh, really? It was at the Armory first?
The Armory first, and then later went to Delirium.
Okay. I mean, we met in the BDSM scene, going to scene events and stuff, and meeting people and stuff.
Yeah, I think I got along. Me, personally, I don't think I'm the most into BDSM. I might be a little dominant, but not dominant in the traditional sense of, get on your knees type thing, and, get in the form.
Right.
But more of a, I like to spank you, I like to maybe pull your hair, stuff like that. And that's kind of what brought it. And I think that's just me being... What's that word? Sadist?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I just like it.
Yeah.
It's never been. It's always been about, once I get it, I want to get it the way I want it, and that was about it. You know? And like I mentioned in the car, like for me, it's like I could be friends with girls. There might be in the back end that I want to hit it.
Right.
But I try to be the nice guy.
Sure.
But I back then I did warn women. Like once we crossed a line of any chance that I might be getting sex, that's all I'm going to be thinking about. You know, the fact that we used to be friends is gone.
Right.
And
and like you said, so you listened to the last episode with Good Girl again.
yes,
Yeah.
I loved it.
And you know, and our definitions escape us sometimes, or define us. Our definitions define us. Real profound, Pete. But like, you know, our definitions get in the way sometimes, and one of those is the definition of nice. You know what I mean? And and for me, nice in that episode, what we were talking about was nice meaning a pushover. Nice meaning dishonest about what you want. Nice meaning not willing to test if your girl is testing you. Yeah, pushing back. And my real true, I'm kind. You know what I mean? I'm considerate. I'm a good fucking dude. I will take care of you. You know what I mean? I will love you the way you want to be loved. But I'm not gonna be a fucking pushover.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. You know, and because every time I do that, I feel that dishonest, and I don't even get what I want anyway. You know what I mean? When I try to tap dance and not like be like sometimes I'll be texting with a girl and I'll think like, and for some reason there'll be this knee-jerk reaction. I'll feel a little insecure that day. I don't know what it is, but I'll start to act like here's this representative, this Peter representative, where like it's not my actual self. You know what I mean? And Patrice used to talk about it this way. He said. Patrice O'Neill, my favorite comic of all time. He said, when you're starting to date a girl, don't send the guy from HR. You know what I mean? Don't send the boss. Send the guy from the fucking mailroom. You know what I mean? Send your actual self. Just, here I am, bones and all, fucking whatever. Here's what I want. Don't be a dick, but like, you know, be a dick. Like, be yourself.
Be straightforward.
Be straightforward, right.
Yeah, there's a whole different thing with that, but...
Right, and sometimes I feel like I'm curtsying, you know, through text, you know, like, oh, yes, it would be very nice to see you, too. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing?
But that's what you have to do to get some. I mean,
yeah,
but
I'm a funny person. If I'm not even showing that you know, like I was talking about it a few episodes ago, where I was texting this girl and I said this joke like, you know, don't worry, whenever we do meet up, you know, we can't meet up tonight, but we'll meet up soon. Don't worry, these bitches can't tie me down. You know what I mean? And she said, I don't appreciate that you said the word bitches. And I'm like, son, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
you know who I am?
That's exactly right. I'm sending the motherfucker from the mailroom. I'd rather take the L or risk taking the L than make believe and tap dance and then eventually not. And then when I do show myself, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get dishonest pussy. I've gotten it before. It just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be nicer towards relationships, but I think I got jaded over time, and then eventually it just became what I wanted, and then that's what happened. And then moved to San Francisco, kept getting what I wanted, and then I was poly for a bit there,
right? And
that really, I think that was just me trying to keep all of them without committing to any of them,
right?
And eventually, that really didn't work out.
How dare you tell the truth?
And then I went celibate. You know, for a while, I went celibate for like a year.
As celibate.
Yeah.
I remember that year.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I tried to. Yeah, but I was like, I was trying to like, you were a good wingman or whatever. But like, I was trying to get. Yeah, we
went out and I'm like, hey, was my friend Peter Feliciano?
Right.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah.
But like, yeah, you kind of adjusted yourself and kind of put the reset button.
I was focusing way too much on sex. That was the problem, and I think that was just because of the lack of it when I was younger. I never got attention from women that
you wanted
in high school.
Sure.
Didn't really get a girlfriend until like I think it was like 18 when I got laid, and then we were together for 6.5 years.
Phew.
So that was my first girlfriend.
Long motherfucker.
You know, and that's like the.
And you were well, maybe did you stay monogamous or?
Oh yeah, we were monogamous. Okay. Like I said before, I was the traditional boyfriend. I was monogamous. You know, only you.
Do you feel like a piece of that? Because I think sometimes, obviously, yeah, we can be poly because we don't want to commit, right? But also, I think we can sometimes lie to ourselves as dudes and say we want monogamy because we're afraid we're not going to get better. I think
that's what it was. We were together. We should have broken up right after like a year.
Right.
But we stayed together because we didn't want to be alone. I think that's really what it was.
Right.
One, we didn't want to be alone, and two, we were getting laid.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that's pretty much what it was, and I feel it really shouldn't have gone on that long. And
5 more years on top of that. God bless you.
But because of that, all my relationships after that were super like they went that to like 3 years, 2 year, 1 year, and then like just not even a year after that.
Right,
you know?
Right.
Because I was trying at first. I was trying to that idealistic relationship, the perfect relationship where you become that pushover, I guess.
Right.
And eventually I just was tired of the shit. Once I realized it, I'm like, I'm just gonna drop it. And that's when I stopped caring about my bonds, because I had those strong bonds for so long. Even though we weren't happy we had that bond.
Right.
And breaking that bond after 6 years hurt.
Right.
Totally. And then after the next relationship, that one hurt. And
right.
And then eventually I just didn't want to get hurt anymore. So relationships, as soon as I felt that something wasn't right, I would end it.
Right, and there's two things that come to mind. Number one, part of it could be, you could call it jaded, because that's, whatever, that's true. But also a piece of it is like, I've experienced what I don't want to do, and we eventually, it's kind of like the bumpers when you're bowling. You get a little too much to the left, you can get smacked. A little too much to the right, and you get smacked. And you go back and forth, and we're finding the center through experience, but you do have to roll the ball. You can't just, I'm going to figure out what I want on paper, and then only, no, you do have to kiss some fucking, frogs before you find a princess. You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I don't think women genuinely want someone nice, like a pushover. You know what I mean? They don't want somebody who's just gonna, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to females who are like, I hate it when a guy just asks me what I want to do for the date. Like, come up with an idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want to do, princess? You're the most beautiful person. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
I think I'm still a little bit like that.
but you're in a relationship.
Because she's my wife,
Exactly.
And I want her to be happy, and I know
Sure.
there's things that I like that she won't like.
Right.
But I'm focusing more on her now.
But
I
that's
feel I focus a
considerate.
lot
That's
on
considerate.
me. I've already had my fun. I don't need all that anymore. It's
right.
It's time for me to kind of grow up and just be happy with the person she is and the person I am and what we are together. And that's the thing. It's really three people in a relationship: her, me, and us.
Right.
And it's hard to kind of get the her and me distinguished from the us. And that's so, like, me coming here, that's me. Mm-hmm. She would never want to do this. I'm sure she doesn't really approve of me being here, but it's me. It's me. I have to do this for me.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm a nice person, I swear.
But you get it. It's what I wanted to do. I thought it'd be fun. Mm-hmm. I hope I don't, lose my job over this, because somebody might hear it. But,
whatever.
But the chances of anybody even hearing it are very slim. There's so many podcasts out there. Not to belittle you, but
it is what it is.
But yeah,
Patreon.com/conservative. Daddy needs money. But no, and there's something to. I think part of what makes us more attractive as men, and sure women too, but like what makes us more attractive as men is the fact that we work on ourselves. Like if I don't take care of myself, if I don't love myself, to get corny or whatever, but why the fuck would you love me? You know what I mean? Like if I'm not taking care of my shit, if my street isn't clean, and part of that is, we do have to make money, we do have to perform in these different ways, we do have to show that we're not rapey, we do have to do all this stuff, right? But part of that is, this guy doesn't need me. I don't have to be his mommy. You know what I mean? Like he is self-sufficient.
Yes.
And that way he can kind of, help me and guide the ship in a way.
My wife always says that she doesn't want to live for her kids. She wants to live with kids.
Right, exactly.
That kind of mentality. And I think that's what it is with me. It's like, we don't live for each other. We live with each other. We love each other, but we're still our own independent person.
Right. And it's not like you complete me, that type of idea where like you need this person.
We're yin and yang for each other.
Right. But you've lived as a person and you've built yourself and continue to build yourself as a person where you're not reliant.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
like right now, she loves TV. I love TV, but I'm trying to stay away from it. She doesn't want to. So, it's just when I'm not around her, I'll keep the TV off, I'll turn on some music, and I'll start doing chores around the house.
Right.
That's me trying to better myself, just keep the house done.
Right.
I've always been a messy person, so I'm trying to change that.
Right.
And her, on the other hand, she's just, she works. She's a hardworking person. So, but she just likes having the TV in the background. And for me, TV in the background distracts the shit out of me. I cannot just be doing something and not be distracted by TV. It's just really, it's an addiction. It's like really an addiction.
It's like the good girl was talking about last week, where like she wants to suck his dick, but he's distracted by the TV. And that's a legit thing.
I've had that too.
I think we are distracted by different things. We care more. I mean, maybe it depends on the show.
It's made to be distracting. That's the whole thing. I mean, it's a show for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not there to, look nice.
But
no,
some
it's there
people
to make
can,
money.
like the girl was talking about, she can kind of like detach from, not detach from the story, because the story is not what's enthralling me. It's moving picture, duh. Like, it's like, it's something there. Like, I have to kind of focus on it, you know what I mean?
There's something going on. You're trying to see what's the story.
Right.
But yeah, I've been guilty of being distracted in the middle of head with TV. So I can't do it. I mean, it's I'll be in the middle of it.
Right.
If there's a TV in the background, I'll catch something off the corner of my ear. And then my focus just switches to that, and I'm like, dude, that is horrible.
I don't even understand how people, like, apparently there's this big, like, oh man, thank God for this music, you know, this bump and grind or whatever, because man, you know, we made our baby to this music. Like, that has not been my experience. I've listened to music while we fuck from time to time, but like, I don't I don't want it. I don't want music on it. Distracts me. You know, I want to hear your ass fucking groan too.
I have a playlist specifically for sex. Not because of the music.
Death
music.
metal?
No. It's mostly hip hop and some EDM.
Okay, all right.
Sexual songs.
Okay.
But I mostly use it just for the rhythm.
Okay.
And then, you know, I go along with it.
Yeah, see, you're very pragmatic in that. Very Naruto, very pragmatic. And then we do this, and then we do that. Yeah, okay. But like, it distracts me too much. I don't need music. I don't want music.
But you're distracted by music. I'm distracted by TV. There's a difference.
Yeah, like, especially a girl puts on some shitty music. Get that fucking Kesha out of my fucking face.
Oh my God.
What are you fucking, you know, we're fucking to trap music? What are you fucking, yeah, I know exactly. What are you, fucking 14? What's wrong with you motherfuckers? I gotta piss. You mind if we take a break? Mm-hmm. Doing okay on time?
I'm good.
All right, I'm gonna pause real quick. All right, we're back on. Yeah, man. Fucking,
Where'd we leave off?
what were we talking about? I don't know. It was really profound, though. No, I was thinking, no, I just started that sentence without anything. I figured maybe by the end of the sentence it would come to me, but it's not.
I'm not even baked and I forgot.
I just fucking, I like this. I like having this. Oh, that's what I was thinking. Well, I like having this podcast, yeah, but I was thinking, I was thinking about bump and grind. And how
yes,
I don't think I can sing that anymore.
Really?
Because R. Kelly's he's a little rapey rape.
Pony?
He's a little, yeah, Pony I can do, because Genuine, you know, he's gone. But like, he didn't lock bitches in a fucking closet for. But like, yeah, I mean, is it wrong? Is it wrong? It might be wrong. But in listening to the stories, like, of R. Kelly doing the shit he's been doing, like it. Okay, eventually I got to the point where, like, oh, all right, yeah, that's bad. But is it wrong that a piece of me is defensive out the gate? I think it's because
He's an artist. I'm seeing.
no, not so much. I think it's more that I've heard so many people be angry about Aziz Ansari or Louis C.K. or like some of these other non-rapity rape, you know, and called it that, or called it abusive, or called it, and it makes my knee-jerk reaction be like defensive to the man. Maybe that's it. And maybe females have a different reaction to that. Like, when they start hearing a story, they immediately take the girl's side.
It's different for you because you're used to being around where you could be a little creepy. And not
hang on a second. What does that mean? What does that mean?
So think about it this way: we grew up where you see men be men, quote unquote, be men. So you kind of give that persona. So I'm sure, like Aziz Ansari and all these other people that got in trouble. I mean, Louis C.K. was a whole different thing.
Sure.
But you know, some of these creepy guys were being creepy because that's kind of what you expected to have to do to get a girl to say yes.
Right, and
but
it's
now,
not even.
Now the younger generation are more conscious of what you can and can't do.
But it gets to the point. It's gotten a little too far where I think men are being dishonest about what they want.
The only way it's going to change is once they make a big deal about it. That's what it is. It's just they have to make a big deal for you to realize there is an issue.
Maybe.
That's the only way. I mean,
and
you
I
have
get
to
that.
you have to get every single one. Just like, but if we did the same thing with like, the black people getting shot by police.
Sure.
You have to make a deal of every single one for it to be a thing. Not just getting shot, but just being abused because of their race, or being, you know, treated differently because of their race.
Right.
But nobody points those all out. You know.
And I get that, but If it was willful, making a big deal so that the pendulum swings, I get that. But there's a generation now growing up, and not just a generation, there's older women who genuinely believe that what Aziz did was abusive, who genuinely believe once I say no, it's a 100% no, or who genuinely believe that there isn't a difference between, like Patrice used to say, there's difference between rape and fucking, being a little, so like there's been times where you're making out with a girl, it's hot and heavy, you're on your bed, you're playing fucking EDM or whatever the fuck, and you make a move, for like holding her tit, and she's like, no, she moves your arm away, okay, and you keep making out, and then after a little while, you're making out some more, and then you go again, and that time she lets you, or, you know what I mean, like 100%. Like to have a written contract that says don't touch tit until 23 minutes in, like that doesn't make any. It's all about consent. It is.
When I'm pretty sure I've never gone for anything without just asking, even for a kiss.
Say it again.
I've never gone for anything without asking first, even for just a kiss.
Okay.
But that's just me. I was like, hey, can I kiss you? That kind of thing. It was never, or some of the more sexual partners, it was always kind of defined beforehand that this is what it's going to be.
I mean, sex party or things like that, that's a whole different game.
No, partners.
Right, no, okay, all right. But I'm thinking, like, sex party is like, you have to, you know what I mean, is it all right? Is it the girl I'm with and the other girl, his girl, are like, making out, and I'm like, I motion to him, like, is it okay if I touch your wife's pussy? You know what I mean? Like, and you do whatever. But like, it's such a tip of the hat. Good day, sir. May I touch your wife's vagina?
Think of you going on a date with a girl as if you were in a sex party. You'd have to ask for anything.
Okay.
I mean,
but
why would it be for you at a place where you are?
But let me. If we're coming from the standpoint of I'm not a piece of shit, it changes that dynamic. Meaning, I don't think Aziz, as an example, when he made a move and then it got rejected, and then he made a move again and it got rejected, and she's still there, she's still making out, and she's allowed to. I'm not saying by staying there she consents to everything. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying though is that I've had times where, like Patrice talks about this story where. He was making out with this girl, and nothing happened the whole night, whatever. And then he calls her, like they're on the phone conversation later on, like the next day or something, and he's like, hey, why didn't we have sex last night? And she's like, how old are you? And he's like, 28. And she's like, I knew you were too young. And he's like, what do you mean? She says, sometimes you don't ask for what you want. You take it, little boy. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not saying rape a bitch, but I'm saying there's a difference between...
He could have asked, too.
Well, absolutely. And I'm not saying he was right in that.
You wanting it, and if she wants it enough, just asking should be enough.
Yeah, but I don't think everything needs to be verbalized. I think most things don't. I think there's movement that happens, and you can do it. But what I'm saying is, I don't think anybody who's not a rapist piece of shit, anybody who's not an abusive person, I don't, like, as an example, for me, when I've made that move and it's like, no, or not, that means not right now, or you're asking in a not different, or maybe change your approach, or keep making out with me for a little bit, or next time, yes, but I'm a little afraid of if I give it to you too quick, you're not going to keep liking me, or if I fuck you today, then you're not going to want to fuck me next time because you already got the pussy. There's all kinds of, there's layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of shit, right?
Yeah.
And so we're all trying to navigate this. But like Aziz Ansari, as an example, is not trying, none of these guys want to take it like an actual rapist who gets off on the power.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're all trying to navigate this thing, and to conflate Aziz Ansari with Kevin Spacey or with you know what I mean? There is a difference there. You know what I mean?
I mean, he wasn't trying to rape her. He was trying to get laid.
Yeah, he was trying to get laid.
She should have known he was trying to get laid. I mean, obviously.
But I think she did. If you're over the age of 18, you understand the sexual power that you have as a female. You understand what they do to us.
What I think, I wonder, is if it wasn't Aziz Ansari, it was just some other dude off the street, if she would have left right after,
right?
Compared to just staying around.
Totally.
So there's a starstruck. A lot of these people that are being accused of things, they stick around, or they're there because of the starstruck thing,
or because
but they're still guys. They're still gonna
exactly.
If it were any other guy, they probably would have just blown it off, left, and be done with it.
Or not just that. Not just is it like, because I think sometimes it gets too talked about in this.
But hey, here's another thing we should point out
Sure.
while we're talking about this. We're guys. We can't think the same way a woman would think. We could assume a lot, but it's also a different thing.
But we are half of the equation.
Yes.
And to completely write off anything you and I have to say about it because you and I have a dick.
No, not write off, but I'm just saying we could explain as much as we want, but without the female input, we can't really say
rock and
anything.
roll. Yeah, but sometimes females have a definition of what they want, and their pussy knows better. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes a girl like, I want a nice guy, I want a nice guy. And you and I have both talked about it. And you talked about it, or you heard me talk about it in the Good Girl episode, and you were like, I relate. Where, like, there are girls, I want a nice guy, I want a nice guy. Suddenly you're in your 30s, and you're like, how come I'm unfulfilled? Just because you have a definition on paper doesn't mean that's actually what you want. And I do that in my life all the fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have definitions that get us all wrapped up in stuff. What was I saying?
Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, I just feel like to conflate those two things, it gets messy, and
I mean, we're in a time where it's really a transition. We're going from
right.
a change, a really big change, because
totally
we never had this where women are really kind of standing up for themselves against pretty much half the population against another half the population.
In a way,
that's a big. I mean, it's not like Democrats, Republicans, because there's always Democrat, Republicans, but they have different principles. No, this is straight up biology. We have a separation in biology here. There is a distinct difference here.
Right. But some people would disagree with you on that. Where like, men and women are only men and women because of the social construct. I don't think that's true.
No, I don't believe that. I mean, there's a social construct for sure, but there's also biological.
Right. There's a social contract. Whereas in there are certain things that and different cultures have those different definitions. Like in some cultures, it's you get dressed up and you're hello miss and blah blah. And in fucking Africa, it's totally different. The courting process is totally different.
But it's also because men are. Before we were so social and civilized.
Right.
We were very animalistic. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
we were Of course, the more powerful of the species are going to try to take control and say, because I'm powerful, you're going to do what I want, and that's why we have the positions that we probably have now. But
I remember what I was going to say. If you don't mind,
go for it.
So not only, because sometimes people say like Aziz Ansari or these people, and there is this happening for sure. Like what's his face, the fat guy, the producer,
Weinstein.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein got what he wanted, and he was an abusive cocksucker from the jump, I think. And then he got what he wanted over and over, and he decided to play that game, right?
Because they let him. Nobody. I mean, it wasn't just
he was able to get away with
industry.
it.
The industry let it happen because it was what you have to do. You have to.
Right.
You have to fuck the director to get that role, that kind of mentality.
Right. And I agree that that's a social construct.
Yes, because the people with power made it that way. Or they could make it that way, and nobody spoke of it, because once you did that, you'd be blacklisted.
Sure.
See what happened to Kaepernick. He spoke about something that he really believed in. Mm-hmm. He did one thing that wasn't really affecting the game at all, but because of I don't know what...
He wasn't very good, though, too.
I mean, but even that, I mean, you don't think he got blacklisted? But, I mean,
yeah,
he tried to stand up for something. And I think what happens is when you have everything, when you're really at the top, and then you just drop everything, it sends a message to people.
Right.
That's probably what Chappelle did, but now he's, back and making money again.
Right.
But
one of the ideas that sometimes gets tossed around or conflated with that idea of abusive power, like a Weinstein, is that someone like Aziz, as an example, she might have been starstruck, and so that kept her around. But it's not just starstruckness that makes that happen. The reason why there is, because of how vulnerable women feel, and that's from biology, like the good girl was talking about. The reason why that is because so women feel vulnerable. There is a benefit to knowing that this guy's probably there's a better chance that this guy's not a rapist because a bunch of people know him. He's famous, right? There's a better chance that he could get in trouble if I tell on some, like because there's a built-in like credit system almost. Okay, just like if a guy has a wedding ring, he gets, in some instances, not all, but he gets more female attention because they know, okay, yeah, sure. He's
safer.
He's exactly. He's safer. There is a woman who is voluntarily being in his life. He's probably not an incel. He's probably not a rapist. There's a better chance of that anyway. I'm not saying in general, but I'm saying that's a nature thing.
Yes.
Where like, okay, I see him socializing with another female. That makes me be more open or even interested in socializing with him. So it's not just that someone has power or she was enamored with his star. It's also possible that, okay, I'm more willing to, like groupies exist, and there's a reason why groupies exist. It's not because they have power. It's also because girls sometimes like being near that much excitement, or they see that this guy's safe, or
girls
they have
like
the
having fun.
Right, and they have the idea of like, oh man, it would be great to fuck that guy. You know what I mean? Like, there are some ugly motherfuckers. Like, even me as an example, like, the fact that, even when I was fatter, like, I could pull a girl at a show because because I was just on stage fucking everybody's face, you know what I mean? And killing it, right? And I walk off stage, and now you know me, you know that other people know me, you know that I have been booked on this probably for a reason, which means I am not horrible in interpersonal relationships, and I've been working, I have a skill that I've worked on. Like, there are different, you know what I mean?
You have something to offer.
You have something to offer, right? So it's not just she's starstruck or he's being in a power grab or, he's, and there is that for sure. Like I said, Harvey Weinstein. But there's also, I don't know. It's complicated. It's not one way or another.
This is
all
all complicated. Most things are complicated. We wouldn't be talking about them if it wasn't complicated.
Right. And no, I don't think almost all. Again, there are sociopaths who get off on hearing no, I'll watch rape porn from time to time, but it's not like, it's not like I'm actually, gonna go rape a bitch.
Start the porn with a woman just running down the hall.
But like, there are people who are sociopaths who genuinely want you to say no and get off on the power and taking it, right? But I don't want to fuck a girl who doesn't want to fuck. Because we've both been in that probably example where like you're having sex with somebody and you're like, she's regretting it already, and not regretting it because we're bad fucks, but regretting it because she's like, I was supposed to be good and I'm making the decision. I was supposed to wait, or she's mentally with her ex who just she just got out of a relationship with and she didn't want to do, like, it's layers upon layers of this. So you've been with that in that sexual relationship. I kissed a girl the other day and it was like, I could tell something was not off, there. And I'm like, this isn't good.
She's
I don't
not
like
into
this. Right. I don't like somebody. I love a girl who's into it. I don't want to be with somebody. I don't want to fuck somebody who doesn't want to fuck me.
See, I've had this whole thing where I would get the girl turned on and then just leave it. And then say, nope, we're not having sex. And I think that's just kind of my power
You're
thing.
You're just exactly, you bastard.
And I don't know. But I tried that with my wife. Hell no. She's...
Right.
I cannot do that with her. No.
What do you feel like that was? Was it just a power thing? Or?
I don't know. I'm just fucked up in the head, probably, when it comes to sex. I mean, I have...
We all are. We all are fucked up in the head when it comes to sex. We all have sex problems.
Because we don't know... Because nobody talks about it when you're young, and you don't just... You just grow up with what you see, most likely in porn.
Right. Yeah. And not just that, but I like that idea, like you were talking about the nature thing. So there's an example with Kevin Hart as an example. Kevin Hart's going through a bunch of stuff, and he had some homophobic tweets from back in the day, and blah, blah, blah. And they were jokes.
It was probably because he wasn't around too many homosexual people. Yeah, or maybe it was just a joke. I mean, maybe it was just a joke.
Right. And so he's going through shit because, even though he apologized for it, multiple times now.
He doesn't want to apologize anymore.
Right, because he's like, you already got the blood out of me. What do you want? You want me to die? You know what I mean? But I think...
What do they want from him?
Exactly. And here's what it is. You're not allowed to bully anymore. Right? It's no longer socially acceptable for kids to hit you with rocks and you know what I mean? Like, not that it was socially acceptable.
Horrible.
Right, so was I. But now we're not allowed to do that. There's not any... not allowed. So it's not like we don't get the social benefit, because I don't think there ever probably was a social benefit like on the top level to doing it, but there wasn't as much of a consequence. So now we all bullying is really negatively it's frowned upon.
I think that's more of the more populated areas. I'm sure more rural areas it's still common thing.
Absolutely. But every human being has that in them. Yes. Every human being has that. That's why back in the day there was gladiators, because we want to watch these people die.
We like violence.
Exactly. There's something in our nature, like from when we were on the fucking prairie running around with goddamn tigers and shit, or watching some tribe stab another tribe. Like there's something in us that just like wants that bully. But now it's morphed into this thing where even though Kevin Hart apologizes, even though he's doing this, bullies are not satisfied. When a bully gets your money today, he's not going to come tomorrow and say, "Hey, buddy, thanks for the money." No. He's going to say, "Give me 5 cents. In fact, give me 5 cents, give me 6 cents now." Like, because that's that bully in us that is coming out. And so just like that bully will find a way, why did I go off on this tangent? Our nature will find a way in other ways. Our nature for desire, for, God damn it, why was I saying? All I'm saying is our nature will find a way, whether it be for bullying or whether it be for sex or whether it be for power or whether it be for whatever. So letting it out in little ways is important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But doing it constructively. Like for me, taking a bitch to task in the bedroom, you know what I mean? Obviously it's consent, you know what I mean? Or
yes.
Pussy's wet, we're having fun. I haven't had her sign a goddamn document, but she's coming on my dick. It's cool. But like, I let that animal out in the ways that I've found beneficial to me and to her.
And
I pull her fucking hair and spank her and choke her, and like I'm a fucking rough, mean fun.
Fucker.
Right. But I feel like there are some times where, if a guy is making believe and lying, like we were saying at the earlier in the show, there's guys who will hold up a sign that says, "I'm with feminism because my gender gets too much." Like there's guys who are waving a big flag of "I'm a nice guy," and they don't know that it's because they're trying to get pussy or get social points.
Approval.
Right. And so my fight, that's why part of the reason I call it conservative is because there are people on the left and the right, sure, but there are people on the left who are losing their fucking minds right now. And I think all of us are kind of in the middle. The rest of us
Everybody wants, the people that are very vocal about things are just, I just feel like they want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
That's a lot of it. Just, they want to be a part of this. This is their movement. This is their thing that they're going to do. Right. This is what they want to focus on. I'm focusing on different things. Not saying I don't care about it, but I'm indifferent to it because I'm not doing anything actively to either support or condemn any specific movement or group or politic,
right?
A policy or anything,
right? Or I mean, when it comes up, you'll have your vote, right? When you go into the voting booth, you have your vote. You have your vote when it comes to what you decide to watch. If you didn't like Louis C.K. for what he did, you don't have to buy his Netflix special, or you don't have to, go to see him at a show. You have your vote. You have your money. You have your time that you decide what to spend on, right? But, like, I mean, I'm all down for, okay, fine, hold a sign in a march or whatever. But if it becomes so much of your life that it becomes unquestionable, if your beliefs start to have you instead of you having your beliefs, then you're off the beam.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We get influenced a lot by media, by advertising of different things. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure I bought a lot of things just because I saw an ad about it somewhere.
Absolutely.
And when I was debating on which one I want, that's the one I got because it was an ad.
Fuck yeah.
And that's the one I recognized. I mean, they must be doing something right. They have an ad for it, That's the way I thought about it. And I believe some of these movements are the same thing. Somebody vocalizes this thing, and then because it's being pushed to them through their media that they follow. I mean, Facebook is so about that, just feeding you what you want to see.
Right.
And that's why it was so influential. Same thing with Instagram. Any of these feed systems, you're just leading it. But I mean, media, even the current news, any specific channel is going to be the same thing. They're feeding you what you want to see.
Right. So, and I noticed that too. I mean, when I started looking more into the conservative side of things, or the centrist or libertarian side of things, I noticed that I started to be able to only look for my echo chamber. You know what I mean? I was ragging on everybody else for having their echo chamber, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There are some sites that I immediately, before I even hear a word of that out of their mouth, I immediately judge if it's right or wrong, or I take this side or I take that. So we all have confirmation bias. We all have our echo chamber. You know, I think that's why these podcasts and this podcast is so important, because we get to sit down and have a long form conversation, humanize everybody, you know what I mean, even though you watch Naruto, you know, and like, you know, and really get down to the fact that what's really important here is my cul-de-sac. My responsibilities are not to save the fucking world. My responsibilities, no, I have my family and my life and my love and my friends and my career and my...
If you want to change the world, start at home.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's really what it is. It's like, how am I going to tell anybody else how to live their life if I can't take care of my shit here? Like, I need to be able to take care of myself, take care of my family. I have other more important direct bonds that I need to worry about. You know, why would I care if Stormy Daniels got laid by the president and got paid for it? That is indifferent to me. It's not even going to affect me. It's just the president I already don't care about. I didn't vote for him, but the people voted for him. I can't blame him for winning. I'm blaming everybody else that voted for him for winning.
Sure.
That's it. But I don't blame the people voting for him for being bad people.
Right.
Maybe misinformed.
Right. And
maybe
people cheat all the time too.
But, yeah, I mean, it's on both sides. Politics are a pain. I hate the two-party system here. Like, what is it? I think in the UK, anybody could run, and then they get a percentage, and then the top two people that got the highest percentage, then those two get run again.
Oh, really?
I think, I'm pretty sure it was the UK or something like that, but because they had like some dude with a weird helmet.
There are people who listen to the podcast in the United Kingdom, and specifically, where's that fucking... Anyway, I was looking at the goddamn stats. Somebody is listening a lot in Ohio. Somebody is listening a lot in the UK, in certain parts of Canada, India, China, Germany. Okay. Like there's motherfuckers listening. For some reason, Hawaii, but not Alaska. Where the fuck you at, Alaska? All y'all motherfuckers had nothing to do with hunt moose all day. You better be fucking listening to the podcast.
To push over there.
Yeah, exactly. God damn it, I remember
hearing you about doing that shit. Apparently, I was watching something about streamers and how they make money. Apparently, they have a button they could push, so in the middle of their streaming, they could get an ad.
Right.
So it may just force people to go watch an ad and make more money. So it's like a money button.
Yeah,
but the more you push it, less people want to watch.
I've emailed a couple of ads from the beginning of the show. I was thinking like of not doing ads, but it's just financially, you know, it's bleeding me to do this podcast and stuff. And yes, I have some Patreon followers and stuff, but it is financially bleeding me. So, you know, but I'm only reaching out to the ones that I actually would like. I'm not going to like
just get ads from people. Hopefully you could get ads from things you actually believe in.
Yeah.
You know, but
I've been reaching out to porn sites.
Hey,
I've been reaching out to porn sites and be like, hey, you know, this incest porn. I talk about fucking, you know, all this other shit.
Listen to Good Girl.
Exactly, dude. I fucking, you know, I try to. Anyway, was there? How you doing on time? It's 2:07. You good?
Got all the time in the world.
Do you like Union City? You can't,
it's a city.
Right?
It's a city.
Do you work in Union City?
I live in my house. That's all I do.
You work in your house?
No. I live in my house. As long as I have my space, I don't care where I live.
Right.
You know, I'm not the kind of guy that goes out. Once I buy a house, then I'll worry about where I'm actually living.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, every place I'm at is just a transition. I'm not planning on staying there.
Would you
whatever is affordable, whatever I find more convenient.
Right. Would you ever? So do you work in the city?
I work in San Francisco. Yeah.
Wow. So you commute every day?
Yeah.
Oof.
It's like a hour commute door to door.
Right.
Which isn't too bad. I mean, I like the commute. It gives me time to. That's where I was watching Naruto.
Right.
So one episode there, one episode back, and
yeah, there you go. Okay. So they're still making new ones?
So I just finished so there's two for Naruto, which is Naruto and then Naruto Shippuden, and then there's Boruto, which is his son.
So this is like a Doctor Who thing type of. It's like a long.
They're
serial
strict stories in each one.
Okay.
You know, so Boruto, I'm gonna start that one, but
you haven't even started it.
No, I've been watching it in order. So the first one was like 200 some episodes.
Whoa, okay.
The one that I just finished was 500 episodes.
Nice, holy shit.
The next one, I don't know. I'm not even touching that. I got some books I want to read.
Okay.
I like reading, and I've been putting that away because I've been watching Naruto. I've been trying to finish that 500 episode thing. You know.
Where do they make it?
Japan, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It's a manga over there.
Okay, and then is Hollywood in charge of making it American, like or redubbing it? And...
No, I think it's
probably a Japanese.
One of those
company.
Japanese, like they made it an anime and then they bring it to America by some other production company that does the subtitling, like Funimation or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to visit Japan soon.
Oh,
yeah.
dude,
have you been?
No, I want to. I've really only started traveling recently. Been to London, Paris.
What did you think of London?
It was wet.
Yeah.
It rains a lot.
But
it's pretty cool. I like it. I like the subway system. That was pretty cool.
Right.
Underground.
Sure. What about Paris?
Paris, walked around it a lot. Lots of military. The Eiffel Tower. Like there's people with guns there guarding it. Apparently, it's terrorists. Apparently, you know.
Yeah.
So, didn't feel the safest there, but it's an experience. That's for sure. I know people are like really. I love San Francisco. I love New York. I've been to New York too, and
sure.
It's just another city to me. It's just people trying to get by. It's really more about what I'm doing. Me, it's more. I've never really been any of the too cultured. You know, I never went to museums or stuff like that.
Sure.
I started going to the MoMA. Signed up for that just because.
Right.
But mostly for me, it's just been let's go out and get fucked up. You know, going out and that I could do anywhere. It doesn't really matter where.
Right.
I just get some drink, get some weed.
And you have your wife and you have this stuff that's And
I just want to drink, get high, and go dance, and that's like my best time ever. Right. It doesn't matter where it's at, as long as there's some music that I like, I'm happy.
Right. It's interesting that you have the Latin blood that gives you the rhythm, but then you also have the anime upbringing that I feel like would counteract that. But we've been dancing before, so I know you can dance. Yeah,
I love dancing.
Right, it's fun.
Like I used to go like out every weekend just to go dance, even the middle of the week.
Right.
When I first moved here, I was probably partying Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night every single freaking time. And then even at the SFTNG thing, you know, after that, I remember taking a crowd of people over to one of the clubs just so we could go dance. Right. So it's always been my thing.
There's so many clubs that have gone down. There's Elbow Room recently closed.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, they've been threatening that one for years, but that one finally closed.
My favorite was Holy Cow before they did the remodeling.
They remodeled it?
Yeah, now it's like any other freaking club where you can't sit down anywhere because it's all VIP and all this shit. I'm like, dude, why can't I just go in there, have people in t-shirts who don't give a fuck, and just go dance? Right. You know, now it's all people dressed up and all that. Right. I'm like, I just want to wear sneakers, anime t-shirt or something, and my jeans, and just go in there and have fun.
It would be fun to, like, if it would be financially feasible. So, in my mind, I have all these weird, lofty dreams when I make money. One of them has been, at some point, it would be nice to like open a club that I have nothing to do with really, except to just make sure that it's a funk club, or make sure that they play old school hip hop and funk, and so it's dancing, but it's not the same music over and over. Maybe we'll have an EDM night, or we'll have it this night, or whatever, but like it's not the same music over and over. Like when we were going to clubs, it was a lot of Kesha and LMFAO, and the same, you know, fucking goddamn Pitbull was in every fucking goddamn song. I'm sorry, I know he's Puerto Rican and shit, that motherfucker can fuck off. And we actually look very similar. He and but like there's a I want to, you know, when I was in Portland there was this place called the Goodfoot. I don't know if it's still around. But the Goodfoot was this funk club, and you'd go, and there'd be like, you know, they'd be playing James Brown, and you know, or they'd be playing fucking OPP. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that type of shit, I feel like speaks to a lot of motherfuckers. Maybe not the youngest generation, this new generation.
It doesn't sell, doesn't get people there. That's a problem.
Right. But when it's on, even with these young motherfuckers, you play OPP in any club, you're gonna fucking, it's gonna kill. You know what I mean? When you play Biggie in any club, it's gonna kill. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like it would be nice to have that.
Little John.
Yeah. Throw in, sure, fuck it. Some early thousands. Right. From Windows to the Wall. We'll always, for some reason, I guess R. Kelly is now, you know, you can't do that no more. I realize I can't be playing Bumping Grind no more. I don't know.
You should give it a try, see what happens.
See, I have it because I play at these cover gigs once every couple of weeks.
Have you done it after the whole surviving?
No, I think I did it last Sunday at Amelie Wine Bar, and didn't have any reaction really, so maybe that was the reaction. But like usually I'll play it and people were like, "Oh my god," you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
It looks that some great things could be overshadowed by the people that made it.
Right.
You know, because I'm sure there's things that just it's hard. You can't. Can these people have made these things if they weren't who they were already?
Right.
You know, so.
Right, and which came first, the fucking chicken or the egg? I actually have a friend who, I haven't gotten the details on it, but she actually has strong, and she's, I mean, you know, I hate her or whatever, but she has strong, no, she has strong, like she has logic in a lot of different parts of her life, but she genuinely doesn't believe that Michael Jackson molested kids, and there's a piece of me that, like, I just immediately I didn't do any research on it, but I just signed off on it in my head. Like, yeah, fucking don't touch kids, right? He touched kids, he's a bad person, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, you still put on fucking Rock With You and everybody will dance. But,
yeah.
But like, someone who's logical, who has that opinion, and I'm like, oh, I haven't done any research on that. That's interesting. I don't know. I guess I have to dig a little bit on that because she's logical in other ways. So I'm like...
I mean... There's no real way to know. Right. I think that's the whole thing. Like, there's 3 sides to every story.
Sure.
Side 1, side 2, and the truth. You know,
right.
Just you're not gonna know unless some actual evidence comes out. And I don't think there's been any actual evidence. It's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, there were people who said that he did, and then not changed their story. But I think one of the victims who said that he did it. Committed suicide later,
and then the dad's like, it was because they lied or something like that.
Yeah, like, so I don't know. I gotta
right.
I'm so busy with life.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like
research Michael Jackson.
Just because it's a famous person, we focus on it when this is going on everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We keep focusing on the people in the public eye, but there's people. You know, Stormy and Daniels, Trump, and then kid gets shot in the middle of nowhere, and nobody talks about that one. Right. You know, that's my problem with the media is that there's things in communities that are constantly happening, and nobody reports about it because it's just regular.
Right. That's my problem with Black Lives Matter. Is not that you're standing up against cops doing some actual awful shit, because there are cops who have done actual awful shit. But 2 things. One of them, there are some times where it's a gray area, but because the skin of the victim was black and the skin of the cop was white, it's immediately a racial thing. And it's like, okay, sometimes...
It's hard to separate that.
Right.
But the fact that it's the facts of what happened that they should be focusing on, not on the skin.
Right.
If it were a white cop and a white person...
Which does happen a lot.
Exactly. But nobody talks about it because it's not a black person.
Right. Or the other thing that I have a problem with Black Lives Matter is they don't talk really at all. I mean, they're not as much in the public eye as they were. They don't really talk at all about all the black kids killing other black kids in gangs. There are thousands, like so many.
Because it's literally 50%. It's just another black on black crime.
Right, but they're black lives. They're Black Lives Matter. They're BLM. Shouldn't they be standing for that? You know what I mean? Like, I get make sure cops have the right training because and aren't pieces of shit. But like, there are so many black kids. There are literally 50% of murder in America is a black male doing it, and most of those victims are almost all of those victims are other black males, and it's over you shot my cousin, or you fucked my girl, or you're part of this gang and I'm exactly.
But
and it's just like
that's a circumstance thing, not because they wanted to be there. I'm pretty sure most of them don't want to be in those situations. It's just the circumstances they're in. It's hard to get out of something when that's what you grew up with. Right.
But how do we change that culture of being on the street?
The culture? It takes the people that are in the street, the people that are actually doing this, to take a stand and decide to change it. Right. It's not going to be us changing them. It's going to be them changing them. The same as what's going to make you lose weight. It's not me telling you to lose weight. It's going to be you doing it because you want to do it. Right. It's going to have to be internal for it to really matter. Like women, like the women calling out men on this is because women are doing it. Right. Like,
but then there has to be at some point because it goes so far as we're creating almost like a generation of cat ladies at a certain point. Because, like, I get it. We shouldn't, no rapey rape. Like, fucking stop, men, right? But that also doesn't mean be a gentle ginger guy who never makes a move. You know what I mean? Like, or who never.
We're changing
like, that doesn't
society.
mean...
The thing is, we're changing.
Because
you're saying it doesn't mean that, but the thing is, it's been like that, and now things are changing because we're changing as a society. We're all talking about things instantly with each other now,
right? But
and that's what's making things happen,
right? But I feel like it's my responsibility as a guy who has been with enough females, like I was talking about on the last episode, who has been with enough females who have made believe that they want something, or who like they have a definition
maybe
in
it's
their
just the females you find.
Maybe it's the ones I attract, but there are a lot of females in their 30s who are like, oh shit, I wasted my time having this definition of what nice meant, and actually I want kind, but not a pushover. You know what I mean? Like, and they don't have this, the filter built in. The filter gets built in for me. Here's what the filter is for me. As a dude, I get starved of sex because my approach isn't right, or because I'm being a punishing asshole. Like, I get starved of sex, and that's the social. Suddenly, that's the bumpers, like the bowling bumpers that make me go, okay, maybe I should be a little kinder, or maybe I should be a little this. But there's no filter socially right now for females to go, okay, you know what? Let me be honest with my gut. I don't want somebody to approach me with this contract that says, "Can I kiss you?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Okay. Well, here's another thing. You say sometimes you just kind of have to go for it and stuff like that. It almost sounds like she's asking for it without really asking for it. But the thing is, with the woman, if she wants to ask for it, she could just ask for it.
Yeah, but also that.
So why don't women ask for it then?
Because it makes it unattractive to them. Because they want to know that you can. There's something about it. The ones I've talked to about it, the good girl as an example, but like the ones I've talked to, they want to know that you have the emotional maturity maybe to read them without having to vocalize it. They want to know that they don't want to have the keys. They don't want to have the keys that says, I would like now you to do this. Like sometimes,
but
sure.
It almost sounds like they don't know what they want then. If they know what they wanted, they would just ask for it. That's what I'm trying to say. Is if a woman wants it, she could just ask for it and make it happen.
She could, but
like Good Girl, she said. I'm pretty sure she said if men are disposable, she could just ask for it and it'll be there.
But she also talked about, and this is my experience when I talk to the females that I've talked to, overwhelmingly, not all, but overwhelmingly, most of the females are coming from a standpoint of, but you have to make a move. Girls don't want to make the move. They could ask for it, but they don't want it. To. Maybe, but there's something in nature, even though it's a social construct, there's something in nature that wants us to make the move. There's something in nature.
Because they've been raised like that. I'm pretty sure.
But there's something in nature that wants to be a bully, and we weren't raised like that, or maybe we were. But even when you take away the construct of we're not going to raise kids as bullies, that bully will come out in different ways. Sure, but that bully will come out in different ways. Same thing goes. I feel like that's nature for us to tackle the gazelle and not be mean, not be rapey. But we need to talk
about it for us to find out how we're going to take care of this nature.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what this is.
We're just starting to have the conversation with women and men between the whole rapey thing.
And that's what this podcast is. And I'm gonna be one of those stick in the muds that's like, no, like girls, you don't, be honest with yourself. You don't want to wimp.
Nobody's honest with themselves. That's a problem.
Sure.
Like everybody has their little. Two little things telling them this is what I want, this is what I want.
But you're 35. You have 35 years of experience of learning how to be more honest with yourself, even this year than you were last year. Mm-hmm. And I have that exact experience. The people that I have on the podcast, almost all have that experience of like, you know what? I believed this for a long time, and it turns out I don't actually believe that. And so now I'm going to start working on myself and showing other people, as by example and also by words, that we can be more honest with ourselves. And even though it's leaving ourselves open to risk, it's also making us more fulfilled. It's also making us more happy.
I think a lot of people don't work enough on themselves before they start trying to connect with other people. Mm-hmm. That year of celibacy really helped me grow personally, because I just completely removed the relationships and sex out of everything.
So you didn't date at all?
No. Just hung out with friends, mostly guys. I have most of my closer friends are all women, just friends, and we'd go out clubbing and stuff like that. So that was about it. Right. I really just stayed away from it, and it helped me grow as a person and realize what I really wanted. And I think that's a lot of people as younger kids, especially attractive-looking people. They're constantly dating, seeing other attractive people, or even the non-attractive people. They're still seeing other non-attractive people, or whatever. they're not establishing themselves because you don't know. Nobody talks about this stuff. It's just
almost like you took a time to meditate. You know what I mean? Like for me, I relate in that for a long. There's been many times there's been times where I'm in a relationship and I've believed that I want non-monogamy to the point where I hurt the other person and I'm punishing the other person and I'm actually not fulfilled anyway. But I wanted it on paper, and it's like, wait, let me step back a second. I don't know if I actually want this right now. I may want it later.
Yeah,
but you know what? Let me take a break.
We're guys. We're creatures. We want stuff. We want stuff. We just want things, and sex is going to be one of those. You're going to see something shiny, you know. The way me and my wife would put it, it's another shiny hole. You know, you just put some glitter on it, and I want that one there. You know, that's
I don't want to lick glitter though.
No, but you get distracted. You know, there's two holes. The one with glitter is the one that you want, right? The one that looks prettier, whatever gets your attention. That's the one you're going to want. And unfortunately, you know, people get used to what they're with, and then they get distracted, and it's just a distraction. You still have that bond, but you have a distraction now, and that's what makes it difficult, is these distractions, because you're ruining your human experience with this other person.
Right.
So it's just, poly never worked for me just because of that, I think, because I never took any of the relationships I had seriously.
Yeah.
And I believe poly has its place with certain people.
Absolutely.
When they actually put it in a serious light, in both parties, any party, all parties. But when you kind of don't put that effort in, and everything takes effort. Everything, relationships, work, everything's going to be work.
Being alone takes fucking effort.
Oh my god, I don't think I can be alone. But yeah, it's just everything takes work. You can't assume everything's just going to work out just because you're happy.
So for me, I'm wondering, and we should start wrapping up because I got to go. But I also think that a piece of me wanted that on paper, not just because I wanted that on paper, but because I was insecure. I was insecure about, I needed to get notches on my belt in order for me to feel like a man. And I think there's something natural about that. I don't think that's evil, but I think that sometimes I have taken it to the point where it's like I won't even take a minute to assess whether I like this girl or not because I can't stay with one. So I'm not even going to emotionally invest at all, or I'm going to emotionally invest just enough to keep her ass around while I'm getting myself in all these other, pussies, and getting myself in all these other, and that way I can kind of swing from the vine of comfort into the vine of a different pussy, rather than actually stopping a minute and saying, okay, if I wasn't insecure about my manhood, what would I actually want?
Do you think it was insecurity, or do you think it was also a sense of you knew you didn't want to settle down and you didn't want to be a cheater per se? Because you knew you wanted more. Yeah. Yeah, that's a piece of it. And that's why you would say I'm non-monogamous. Right. Because I don't want to cheat. And sometimes I feel like that's the honest way to come about it. And that's legit. And I've had times where I'm like that. But I've also had times where I've used poly as a means of, honestly, I've even used it as a means of punishing the girl I'm with. Like by finding little ways to let her know that I'm fucking somebody, or subconsciously let her know that I'm fucking somebody, or texting somebody, so that I can say, hey, bitch, I can get somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Which is not honest. Was kind of more the person I'm with, dating or whatever. I like talking to them about what's going on with me. So if I was poly, if I was with somebody else, I would be talking to them about the other person too. And that would hurt people, Right. When I was first here, I had a poly relationship with somebody back home, and she understood I was seeing other people, and she we talked about it. And I think that one relationship made me grow a little bit more. That's when I became celibate after that, because she's like, you kind of need to grow up. Like, you just need to, like, because I was actually having a conversation with her. She was thinking, she was going through a divorce. She got back together because of our relationship of being poly. She got back with her husband in a poly sense, and then after that, they just stayed monogamous again. So it worked for her, but she was taking it seriously. Right. And then that made me kind of take it more seriously. But it was nice that I was able to talk to her about other relationships, which weren't going well because of the poly thing, because they weren't poly. Right. And it was hurting them. Right. And then it just made me more retrospective on what I was doing to people. Right. And there's some women who have been with in a poly way where they want to know, and they even sometimes get off on it. And then there's also been women where they don't want to know. And I feel like that's the one that hurts me. The ones that don't want to know. But when I was poly, I think I am super jealous. I can't be poly. I am super jealous. And like I said, poly wasn't meant for me. I was using it as an excuse for sure. And the reason I even tried it was because I had a friend who was poly and it was successful for them. So I'm like, let me give that a try, you know?
Right.
And it didn't work. I'm a jealous person. I can't.
Right.
And I'm really, it's just not going to be that ever.
Right.
So.
I mean, for me, I've had times where I feel like, there's different versions of it. Like, okay, we'll be monogamous, except we'll bring a girl in from time to time. Or we'll be monogamous, except,
See,
if
that's
you want to
poly.
see somebody...
That's
yeah,
just
that's
non-monogamous.
touche.
Just non-monogamous. There's a difference between being non-monogamous and having actual relationships with multiple people.
Relationships, yeah. And especially from a female standpoint, there's almost more, like for me, I mean, yeah, actually, I think for dudes too, like there's more at stake when you're getting your heart invested in somebody else. When my partner's getting her heart invested in somebody else, that's why are we even doing this anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Does
if it's just you're fucking somebody, go fuck them. Have
but does
fun,
it bug you when they invest time in somebody else to get to know them and stuff like that?
So I've also been with women where they're doing it legit, like they actually want to spend time with this person or just fuck them or whatever, but they love me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also had times where a girl was, and she didn't realize it at the time. It was more subconscious, but we talked about it over time, and she realized, yeah, that's what I was doing. She was trying to make me jealous so that I would lock her down and make us monogamous. You know what I mean? That
makes sense.
So I don't know.
I mean, people want to keep people around. That's what it is. They like you. They like the bond.
Right.
They like the way you make them feel, because that's what they're going to remember is how you made them feel.
Right.
So you make them feel happy, but you also make them feel upset, obviously, and that's what they're going to remember, those two things. So I'm just trying to make sure the people that I talk to feel a certain way with me. Right. I'm not trying to upset people anymore, or, just get a rise out of them. Mm-hmm. Except, during conversations like this, I don't mind,
Right.
But you really have to debate. You can't... You have to stand up for what you believe in. I mean,
sure.
But some people really go against what you believe in because they believe something else, and everybody has their right to their own opinion. It's not going to affect the way I feel about you. It's just we had a conversation, we both disagree, it might have gotten a little heated, but we're still who we are,
Right.
So it's hard to distinguish that sometimes.
Right.
Especially, like you mentioned, you did the show, and then all of a sudden people treated you a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how people are, because...
Right. And I kind of liked that a little bit. I liked it. I
can't
be so dishonest to say like, oh, poor podcast host had people leave. I like kicking hornets' nest. I mean, that's why part of what I get out of being a dominant. I like the reaction. Give me the fucking, give me the nut, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, give me the fucking, I want that noise. You know what I mean? Anyway, so it's 2:30, so I need to go. But
all right.
Thank you so fucking much for coming into
No
the city
problem.
and doing
My
this.
pleasure.
I really enjoyed this, and I hope your wife's not mad about anything we said. But I think we did pretty
good. You just need to take out that one spot.
That one piece of her name, I will cut that up.
Yeah.
But in general, I appreciate our friendship. I know we don't see each other very often, but I'm really happy that we get to move forward, and I'm happy to hear about the changes you're having in your life. And
the whole bond thing that came up with the anime. That's why I started hitting you up a little bit more. I'm like, what? I need to hang out with this. He's been not necessarily a good influence, but but the way you make me feel when I'm around you is positive. So that's what I remember, and I enjoy that. It's the same as me enjoying going out to a club, getting drunk. It's the same thing. It's just a fun moment, just enjoying the moment.
And that's all we're doing here, is trying to enjoy the moment and express and love on motherfuckers that we can while we can, and have these life experiences. So I appreciate you not letting the title get in the way. But I think we knew each other, and yeah.
I mean, we liked hanging out with each other. So
exactly.
Couldn't be that bad.
So you go listen to some of the other episodes. So everybody, this is coming out Monday, the 14th of January. So I will be speaking, or I will be singing at Testarossa Winery in Los Gatos. I will be singing at Testarossa Winery, Los Gatos, Saturday, January 19th, between 3 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. down in Los Gatos, and then I will be singing on Valentine's Day, Thursday, the 14th of February, at 7 Mile House in Brisbane, between 7 and 10. And other than that, go to patreon.com/conservatives to contribute to my music and my podcast endeavors and all this stuff. And follow me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano and like the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, and share this filthy shit with your friends. And do you have anything to promote?
At Uncovert Ninja on Instagram.
At Uncovert Ninja.
Yes, that's just don't really know what it is yet. It's just me trying to do my ninja way, quote unquote. You know, just trying to promote that you can do things. You don't have to do it perfect, but just try. Awesome.
Uncovert Ninja. Badass. Thank you, everybody, and thank you again, Dirty Bert, for coming on. And y'all have a lovely day. Bye-bye.